My fiance Owen got me 4 blind dates with a book. The vibes are slightly eerie. You don't know who to trust. That is so disturbing.
Oh, I was right!
There's not really much going on.
Look at how floppy it is!
And this felt like Heartland in a book. The vibes were there. The vibes were immaculate. I'm gonna buy all of her books and I'm gonna read all of them. Hello guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. As you can already tell by the title of the video, we are going to be going on some blind dates with books. I am so excited. If you don't know what a blind date with a book is, basically you either buy from somewhere or someone gifts them to you, and basically the book is wrapped up. You don't know what book it is. Some of them have little prompts on them to tell you either the genre of the book or what tropes are in the book, what the book might remind you of, things like that. Some of them don't have any props on them at all. Sometimes you just have to pick. A lot of creators on Etsy make blind dates with a book and they'll make them themed. So there's like Taylor Swift themed ones and Harry Styles themed ones, things like that, where they'll pick books that remind them of the album. For example, they'll pick a book that reminds them of the Lover album or the Folklore album, something like that. I have wanted to do this for so long. It looks like so much fun. What could be better than unwrapping a book and reading a book in the same video? Literally nothing. So my birthday was actually 3 days ago and my fiance Owen got me 4 blind dates with a book for my birthday. He actually made them for me. 2 of them are from him and 2 of them are from his parents. He wrapped them up for me all special. He put little prompts down here to tell me what the book is about. This one he put tea in, the other ones don't have anything in them, but these ones have tea. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever that he would do this for me. So there's 4 of them here. We're gonna read all 4 of them in this vlog, so this vlog is gonna be longer, but I am so excited to get started with this. The first one that I showed you here, it says dark magic and fantasy on it, and I have a suspicion of what this book is. Obviously I'm not completely sure, but I have a small suspicion, and so I'm really excited to open this one. The next 3 books are all romance. So this one says romance off limits and slow burn. This one says modern romance wholesome, and then this says comedy romance this or that. So obviously this is a rom-com. He actually asked me for my Goodreads like a month or 2 back because he saw these on Etsy and he thought that it was a really good idea for my birthday. All of these are from my Goodreads want to read list. I have a guess of what the fantasy book is, but I have absolutely no idea what the 3 romance books could be because I have a lot of books on my Goodreads and the majority of them are romance. If this is the book I think it is, he's heard me talk about it quite a lot. Let's open our first blind date with a book. And of course, if you guys haven't guessed it by now, I'm opening the first one that I showed, which is the fantasy one, because like I said, I think I know what it is. I'm so excited. I'm gonna try and show you guys first. Which one is it? Oh, this is not the book that I thought it was gonna be, but this is still one of the fantasy books that I've been really wanting to read. I'm so excited. This has been on my Christmas list like the past 2 years. I really want to read the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, but I know that that trilogy is based in the same world as this trilogy, and I know that that trilogy spoils the ending of this one. So I wanted to read this one first before I went into Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm so excited. I personally thought it was One Dark Window because I wanted to read that one for a really long time and I've mentioned it to him a couple times. I am so unbelievably excited. Owen, I know you're watching this, so thank you. I'm so excited. Let's go and read this. Hello everybody! I have been so busy that I haven't even had time to come and sit down and tell you what Caraval is about and how I'm liking it, how it's going and stuff. I finally have a moment where I can sit down and talk to you guys about it before I finish this book. I'm really hoping to finish it today. I got to 61% last night. I have 5 hours to just read today, all in a row. All I have to do is laundry today. I already got that started, so when my timer goes off, I'm gonna go and switch it, and then I'm just gonna go back to reading. That's my plan for today. I want to get this book done. I am loving this book so far. It is so good. If you don't know what Caraval is about, basically we're following the female main character, who is Scarlet, and her sister Donatella, Tella for short. And Scarlet, for the last 7 years, has been sending letters to Legend, the Caraval master, because she wants Caraval to come to her isle so that she can watch the Caraval games. Finally, Legend responded to her letter and sent her 3 tickets to come to his private isle and come and play the games that are being hosted this year. Scarlet doesn't think that they'll be able to go because they currently live with their father, who is a very cruel man who they're very scared of, who will hurt them severely if they ever try to leave the isle. But basically, Donatella finds a way off the island with this boy named Julian, and they kidnap Scarlet and they bring her to Legend's private isle. But when they get there, Scarlet's sister goes missing, and later on she finds out that she was actually taken by Legend himself, and that the games this year are surrounding her sister and herself, and they have to find Donatella before something goes wrong. So that's pretty much the basic summary of this book so far. I'm currently on page 250, chapter 25. Goodreads says I'm 61% of the way through, and I am loving this. I have literally only been reading this for 2 days so far. This will be my 3rd day, and I think I'm gonna get it done. And that's gonna be like the fastest I've finished a book in a really long time. I am really enjoying this. I'm so glad that Owen decided to buy this for me. It definitely has a very suspenseful feel to it. The stakes are pretty high in this book. They don't start out that high, but as the book goes on, you can feel the stakes start to pick up. I can definitely feel the suspense in this book. Like, I'm feeling suspense while reading this book. The vibes are slightly eerie. You don't know who to trust. Everybody's keeping secrets. Everybody's lying because they all want to win this game. It's just a lot of fun to read, and I'm really enjoying it. And so far, I highly recommend it. One of the plot twists I called. That wasn't like a huge plot twist though. That was more like a little small teeny tiny plot twist, but I called it. The second one I thought I had called, but it didn't end up coming true. So I did not call that one, but I thought that I had. I'm excited to see what other plot twists they have going on in here, what's gonna happen, how this book is gonna end. I'm gonna go and read, hopefully finish this book, and I will update you guys later. The one thing that really annoys me in this book is that her sister is taken, but at times it almost seems like she's more concerned about finishing the games and getting back in time for her wedding. Her father arranged a marriage for her, and when they left for the isle, she was getting married in 10 days. And so she keeps going back and forth about whether or not she's going to save her sister or if she's going to leave to get back in time for her wedding. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why are you more concerned about marrying a dude that you've never even met because it's an arranged marriage instead of saving your sister before she might possibly die? That's the one thing that really irritates me about this main character. That is so disturbing. Hello everyone, it's the next day, and yesterday I finished Caraval, and I seriously have no words. I am just I'm at a loss for words by how good this book was. I ended up rating it 4.5 stars. It's just so good. It's so good. I am so intrigued to see on how good this series becomes, because if this is already 4.5 stars, what are the other 2 books going to be if people on Goodreads are rating it higher than this? I'm at a loss for words, and like, I seriously don't know what to say. There were so many plot twists in this book. I didn't see any of them coming. I literally only called one. There were a couple that I called, but then they didn't turn out to be what I actually thought they were, so then they actually didn't come true. So technically I didn't call them, but I called like 25% of them. There was one I completely called, but it wasn't a huge plot twist. It was a very minor plot twist. I think anybody could have picked up on that one because it wasn't a big one. The last 100 pages of this book were intense. I just could not stop reading. My heart was pounding with adrenaline. My stomach was twisting in knots, and literally for the rest of the day after reading this, it just felt like I was in a constant state of anxiety because this book was so good, and that's what it did to me. It wasn't like bad anxiety, it was just like adrenaline from reading this book. There were a couple things that I didn't like about the female main character. Like I said before, Scarlett was like torn between finding her sister and making it back in time for her wedding, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Why don't you just go and save your sister? Like, why are you so concerned about marrying a man that you've never met over whether or not your sister is okay? That really irritated me and really annoyed me for the rest of the book. I think like a little bit over 60% of the way through, she switched up and she was a lot more urgent about finding her sister. But yeah, as I've said before, I'm really bad at describing books and talking about books and talking about how I feel about books, but like this one has truly left me at a loss for words, and all I'm hoping is that somebody picks this up and makes a movie out of it, because this would make such a good movie. The plot mixed in with this world that Stephanie Garber has created, with the imagery, with the magic, everything combined would make such a good movie. And like the plot twists were amazing. They were perfect. They were amazing. I loved them so much, and this would make such a good movie. So somebody pick this up for a movie. I don't really know what else to say about that one. So now we're moving on to our next blind date with the book, and I am so excited. I actually opened it last night because Owen was over and I wanted to open it in front of him. So I did record it. So we will roll that footage now so that you guys can see it. Which one do you think I should open?
But see, if I tell you, you're gonna give preferential treatment.
But I don't know which one to do because they're all romances.
Right, and that's all perfect reason to just be surprised. Let your interest take over.
Okay,
Look
well,
at the sizes. You can't peek through the.
I've already looked at the sizes multiple times.
This one is 1 inch bigger. I wonder what it could.
This one is thick. This one's thick. Look at the size difference.
Alright, do your thing.
And this one says wholesome. So then I'm thinking that I know which one this is. But
Give me your guesses on all 3.
the only one I have a guess for is this one. And I came up with it today, picking daisies on Sundays. Because it says wholesome, but I actually have no idea what picking daisies on Sundays is about. So I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I'm just assuming
Give
it's
me the other
wholesome.
2 ideas.
I have no idea.
Read it and then think about your Goodreads and think about the list you sent me. And
This
all
could, the list I sent you, none of these are,
Oh, you didn't think of those, did you?
you bought more?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay, well then one of them could be out on a limb. This could be out on a limb. This could be a Sarah Adams book. Yeah, this could be a Sarah Adams book.
Are you gonna give a guess?
I don't know, because if this one's out on a limb, I want to read out on a limb. Well then what the heck is this?
So you changed it from thinking.
Is this Ali Hazelwood? Which one should I read, Owen? Ah! I think I'm just gonna do Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Moe.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
Pick what your gut tells you
But-
to pick. Your gut is correct. Don't have to
But-
second guess your gut. Your gut is telling you something. I can see it. Pick that book.
You can see it because I can't see it.
Yes, just pick the book. Pick the book you think your gut is telling you.
This is what I have to deal with every day.
And this is what I have to deal with. I have to tell her what her gut thinks. You ever have a gut feeling in someone else's gut?
I don't-
I'm having your gut feeling right now.
Okay, fine. We're choosing modern romance wholesome. That's what we're choosing. Camera's gonna see first. Is it upside down?
No. Yep.
The camera has to see first.
Well, the camera's already eaten. Go ahead.
Oh, I was right! Oh, so excited. Yes. So as you saw, we got the book Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I am so unbelievably excited. I've wanted to read this book for so long. Everybody that I've seen raves about this book and how good it is. It's a romance, and I believe it's a little bit more on the deeper side, more on the emotional side, which is fine with me. I did start it last night. I got to chapter 3, which is page 25. So if you don't know, Out on a Limb is about Win and Bo, and basically they meet at a party and they end up hooking up for a one-night stand, and then later on Win finds out that she is pregnant and she has to figure out what she wants to do, if she wants Bo involved, all that fun stuff. So it is a deeper romance and it's a more emotional romance, which I'm super excited about. So far I'm really liking it, and I'm really liking the writing style. When Win and Bo met, their dialogue was so good, and I was loving it. I was loving the conversations that they were having. They were both teasing each other, and the comebacks that they had for each other were so good. I'm really liking the writing style, and I can tell that I'm already going to really enjoy this, so I'm excited to read more of it. We're going to go and do that, and I will update you guys when I have read some more. So I have about 90 pages left of Out on a Limb. I'm hoping to finish it today. I just wanted to hop on here and talk about it for a little bit before I go off and finish it. I think I'm in a post-Caraval slump because this wasn't hitting as good as I thought it was going to, and this gets such good reviews. I don't think I've heard a bad review on it since it started popping up on Instagram and on TikTok, and I am still really enjoying it. I just definitely feel like I'm in a post-Caraval slump. I feel like I would have liked it more if I didn't read it right after finishing Caraval. Caraval had so much going on in it. The stakes were super high. Things were happening in between the romance and whatever was going on in that world and the problem that they were trying to solve. Meanwhile, in just strict romance books, there's not really much going on. It's usually just the romance is the main focus of the book, which is totally fine. I love romance books. I've always loved romance books. That's one of the reasons why I love romance books. But when you read it after a really good high stakes fantasy like Caraval, it just doesn't hit as hard. It feels kind of boring. It feels like there's nothing going on because in between the scenes of the female main character and the male main character, there's nothing really going on. She's just like going shopping, trying to figure out her life. There's nothing major going on behind the scenes. So I do still really, really like it, and I can see it being a 4-star when I'm done reading it. I definitely feel like when I started this book, I was in a little bit of a post-Caraval slump, and it just wasn't hitting the way that it was supposed to. But other than that, I am really liking this book. I really love the male main character. His name is Bo. He just treats her so well. He's the sweetest, kindest man ever. He does everything for her. He's always thinking about her. He's always wondering what he can do to help. He's always appreciating her and the fact that she is growing his child. It's just so sweet. It's so sweet to read about. There are so many times in this book that I have laughed out loud. I've actually highlighted most of them. I've been doing a little bit of annotating, and most of the annotations are just funny things that the characters have said back and forth because they have great banter. They have great chemistry. I'm loving that. The only thing is that I read it right after reading Caraval, and I liked Caraval so much. This one just felt a little bit boring because there wasn't more going on. But that's my own fault, and that doesn't mean that the book is bad. It just means I read it at the wrong time. So anyways, I have less than 90 pages left, so I'm hoping to finish this one today so that I can start on a new blind date with a book. I'm super excited to see what the last 2 books are. I will update you guys when I have finished reading this. guys, happy Saturday. I finished reading Out on a Limb last night and I wanted to give some thoughts on it. I think I'm gonna settle on a 4-star for this book. I did still really like it. There's nothing really that I didn't like about this book, just as I stated earlier. I think it's just because I read it right after I was reading Caraval and I loved Caraval so much and there was so much happening in Caraval and I blew through Caraval that I think that I was in a little bit of a post-Caraval slump. How many times can I say Caraval in one sentence? But I think I was in a little bit of a post-Caraval slump and I think that's why this felt just a little bit slow and a little bit boring for me. This was one of my most anticipated reads this year. If you saw my reading journal video, you know that this is in my 25 books to read in 2025 spread, and so I was super excited to read this. Everybody raves about it, everybody talks about it, everybody gives it really high reviews. This was highly anticipated for me. I was really excited to read this and I did like it. I still loved it. I thought it was gonna be like a 4.5 or a 5-star, but it was more of a 4-star, but I think that's completely my fault. I think that's just the time that I read it at. It is a really wholesome story and it is totally worth it to read this book. I do still recommend it. I highly recommend it. It's totally worth it to read. It covers a lot of deeper and emotional topics. There is a trigger warning at the beginning of the book. It was a super wholesome story. There was a lot of times where I was laughing out loud with the things that the character was saying. Just a little bit disappointed that it wasn't a 4.5 or a 5-star, but again, I think that's on me. So now that we finished that book, I did open a new blind date with a book last night with Owen because he was here and I wanted him to see it. So I will play that footage once again for you guys. Which one should I choose?
What do you think they are again?
I don't know. I hope one of them is an Abby Jimenez book, but I don't think any of them are. I don't know why, but I feel like this is The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I'm intrigued though as to what this or that means.
I guess I'll have to open it up, yeah.
Which one should I open? This is so frustrating. Shuffle them up behind you, and then I'll pick an arm.
Do I have to be on camera for this then?
No, you don't. It's okay.
Okay, hold up. I got an idea. Don't open your eyes.
Okay.
Left book or right book?
Left book. All right, we have chosen Romance Off Limits Slow Burn. My guess is it's The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. Okay.
Camera's gotta eat first.
Camera's gotta eat first. Done and dusted! Sweet! I've wanted to read this for so long. Nice! Yeah, this wasn't even in my brain. Look at how floppy it is! This is so nice. Being able to open a book like this and hold it open and not have to touch the pages is so nice. So as you guys saw, the third book that we're going to be reading in this reading vlog is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I've had this on my TBR for a really long time, ever since it started getting popular on Instagram and TikTok. So I'm super excited to be reading this. I started it last night. I'm only 25 pages in. It's less pages than Out on a Limb and the font is a lot bigger than Out on a Limb. I think that I'll get through this faster. I don't know too much about what it's about. I only know what's on the back of the book, which doesn't really tell me much. But basically, this book is about Emmy Ryder, who moves back to her hometown because she had an accident on a horse and now she has a mental block and she can't get back on horses, so she has no idea what she wants to do with her life. And then the male main character, his name is Luke Brooks, and I don't really know what's going on with him. All I know is that the tropes in this book are best friend's brother and enemies to lover. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. How was I supposed to know that when Owen wrote Off Limits on the book, that meant best friend's brother? I would have picked this book immediately if he had wrote best friend's brother on the book. I'm so excited to dive right into this. I have a feeling it's going to be spicy because he's already thinking some spicy things about this girl. And I'm not a huge fan of spice. I think that books could go without spice and be just fine. It's just who I am. I just don't like it. We'll see how this goes. I'm gonna keep reading this and then I will update you guys when I get farther in, hopefully with a better summary of what this book is about. Hello guys. It has been a hot minute since I came on here and updated you guys. I actually didn't realize how much footage I didn't have of reading Done and Dusted until I was already finished the book, and then I was like, well, I apologize for that. I was actually really disappointed that I didn't have that much footage. I kind of just I guess forgot to film. I don't know how that works, but I was really busy on the weekend. The one day that I read it, I wasn't even at home. I was at Owen's family's house and I didn't want to record while I was there. So I was reading there, and then the other times I just forgot. I was either with people or it didn't come to my mind. So I have no footage of reading Done and Dusted. I apologize for that. It is what it is. We can't go back in time, so we'll just have to move on. Like I said, I did finish Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I'm giving this one a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. If you're Canadian, you know what I'm talking about, but this felt like Heartland in a book. Heartland is a Canadian TV series, and this felt like Heartland in a book. If you're not Canadian and you can watch Heartland on some streaming platform, you should totally watch it, especially if you really loved this book and this series. You should go and watch Heartland. The vibes were there. The vibes were immaculate. I really enjoyed this book. It was super fast paced. It was almost a little too fast-paced. There was one issue in the book that we got through really fast. On the back of the book, it says that she had an accident when she was riding horses and now she's having trouble get back on a horse. So that was one of the main issues in the book, and I feel like we just kind of brushed past it. We didn't really go too deep into the process of getting her over that fear so that she could get back on a horse. I feel like it went really fast and it didn't really dive into it. But then again, this book is only 321 pages, so there's only so much you can cover in 321 pages. So if the book was a little bit longer, I definitely would have liked for it to go more in depth of the process of how she got over her anxiety and over her fear of getting back on a horse. Things like that. It was very fast paced, but almost a little bit too fast paced at moments. Owen said that it was a slow burn. I'm not exactly sure if it's labeled as a slow burn, but if it is, it's not really a slow burn. They got together halfway through the book, which is fine because it's a best friends brothers trope. So obviously there's more going on than just them getting together. Most slow burns that I have read, they don't get together until 70 or 80% of the way through the book, so I was kind of surprised to see them already together between the 50 and 60% mark. Those are my only complaints about the book. I still loved it, and I'm so excited to read the rest of the series. And then when I finished that, again, Owen was over, so I decided to open my last blind date with a book in front of him, and I filmed it again, so we will roll that footage now.
Okay, I don't think that any of these are comedies, but originally my guess was Flawless by Elsie Silver or Daydream by Hannah Grace, but I don't think either of those would be considered rom-coms, but I could be wrong. Or Happily Never After by Lynn Painter, but I don't know if that's a rom-com either. I think it is a rom-com.
Alright, take your pick. Go ahead.
That's my guess. One of those three. Last book. Here we go. It is part of your world. I didn't know it was this thick. It's a rom-com?
You didn't guess it though.
Because I didn't think it was this thick. I looked at it on my list and I was like, no, that one's too thick for it to be part of your world. I'm so excited. I wanted to read this for so freaking long. That's why the other two I guessed Abby Jimenez, because I thought they were smaller books.
And now it's a chunker.
You have no idea how excited I am for this. Thank you, Peppy.
I know you so well.
I can stop recording now.
So as you guys saw, my last blind date with a book that Owen got me for my birthday is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I could not be more excited. I have wanted to read this for so long. I want to read Yours Truly and I want to read Just for the Summer so badly, but this is an interconnected standalone series, and I know that with interconnected standalones, you can read them out of order and they'll still make sense, but I'm just the type of person who just needs to read them in order, so I wanted to start with Part of Your World. Plus, I find that even if it makes sense reading them out of order, the other books kind of spoil what happens for the previous couples if you read them out of order, and so I just don't want to get any spoilers. I just want to start at the beginning. That's how I like to do it. I am so excited to finally be reading this. I have had it on so many wish lists. It's been on my priority TBR for the longest time. I just cannot express in words how excited I am to finally read this book. I haven't started it yet. All I know about it is what's written on the back, which is not very much. So I'm going to start reading this and then I will give you an update as I go along, and I will get more footage for this one, I promise. But I'm gonna read, and then once I get a little bit further into it, I will give you guys an update. I will explain what it's about if you've never heard of this book before. I am so excited. I will update you guys later. It has been forever since I updated you guys. Last week was such a busy week. This week is an even busier week, and this video is taking so long to film. I wanted it out like 2 weeks ago, and so we're really behind schedule, and I am very stressed out, but it's okay. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna breathe. Everything is going to be fine. I was gonna update you guys earlier on this book, and then I just kind of got carried away reading it because I cannot put it down. I love this book with my whole heart. According to Goodreads, I am about 72% of the way through, so I am planning on finishing it today. I'm on page 291. I have about 80 pages left to go, and I'm going to finish it today. I'm determined I'm going to finish it today. It's a lot later in the day than I would have liked to be starting this, but it is what it is. I'm going to finish this today so I can finally get this video up for you guys. I love this book so much. I adore it. This is my first Abby Jimenez book, and I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm gonna buy all of her books, and I'm gonna read all of them. I am in love. This book is amazing. Right off the bat, the chemistry between the two main characters was phenomenal. This book is funny. It makes me laugh out loud. There's so many good quotes in this book. I have no words. I don't think I ever explained what this book is actually about, so I'll do that now. The female main character, her name is Alexis, and she's a doctor, and she happens to meet this guy in this small town that she ends up in for a night. They basically have a one-night stand, but then she goes back, so it's not really a one-night stand. And basically after that, she just can't stop thinking about him. She ends up going back there. They end up hanging out again for another night, and their relationship just continues on, but she's trying to figure out how he fits into her world and how she can fit into his world, because they live so far away and they both can't move because they have so much going on in their own lives, in their own towns, and they're just kind of tied to their own worlds, and so they have to figure out how to be a part of each other's world, hence the title of the book. And it's just so good. It sounds like the most simple plot ever, but there's just so much packed into this book. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words because of how much I love this book and what is going on in this book right now. It's also dual POV, so you get both sides of the story and you get both of their thoughts, which I absolutely adore. A lot of the times in romance books, it's just you get the female's thoughts, and I just absolutely love it when you get a peek into what the male main character is thinking and what he's going through and anything that he's worrying about, all of his emotions. I just love getting a sneak peek into that. Alexis has a lot of trouble with her parents in this book, and I must say that I absolutely hate her parents. I hate them with a passion. There are so many things that they say and do that I have literally just dropped my jaw to, because I was so, I don't even know what the word is. I was appalled by what they were saying and what they were doing, and I was like, this is your daughter, why are you treating her this way? So that's part of the plot as well. Just as a trigger warning for anybody who wants to read this book does deal with abuse in physical forms as well as emotional forms, so there is that also added to the plot. So this is a much deeper and much more emotional romance. The only thing with this book that I don't have is the 5-star feeling, which kind of sucks. If you're a reader, you know what I'm talking about when you're reading the book and you just, it's a 5-star feeling. You just get this feeling. You love the book so much, but you get this feeling attached with the book. And this book has not given me the 5-star feeling. So I think when I'm done reading this book, it's gonna end up at like a 4.75. I still love this book, and I adore it, and I can't put it down. It's so good. I literally read for like 3 hours straight, and I didn't get tired of reading, and a lot of the times when I'm reading, after like an hour or two, I get a little bit restless and I need to go and do something else. But I sat on the couch and I read this book for 3 hours straight, and I wanted to keep going. I didn't want to stop. I had other things that I needed to do, which is why I had to stop, but I did not want to stop. I am so excited to finish this book, and we are finally gonna go and finish it today. That's all that I have to say. I'm gonna go and finish this, and then I will update you guys when I am done this. I just finished this book, and I know I said earlier that I was probably only going to rate it 4.75 stars, but no. The last 100 pages of this book made it a 5-star. I literally just finished reading this like 20 minutes ago. This is so fresh in my brain. I can't even articulate what I want to say to you guys. This book is so much more than just a romance book. The topics that were covered in here were written about so well, and Abby Jimenez, her writing is just, it's beautiful. I underlined so many things in the last 100 pages. Almost full pages of underlines in this book because her writing is stunning. It's beautiful. It brought me to tears. I haven't cried in a book in so long. I can't even remember the last time that I cried in a book. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. I don't even know what to say. I can't process anything. I can't even articulate what I want to say to you guys. This story is so much more than just a romance. The way that you follow the main character, Alexis, and how she changes throughout the book is truly remarkable, because she comes from a background where like her entire family has just been doctors, and obviously doctors make a lot of money. So she grew up very rich, very privileged. She didn't know how to do a lot of things. She couldn't cook, she couldn't clean, because her family prioritized other things like education and becoming a doctor. Those were prioritized in her family, and none of the other things were prioritized. They had money, they could hire somebody to do all of that stuff for them so that they didn't have to do it. So she grew up and she never learned how to do those things. And then when she walks into Daniel's small little town and she meets Daniel and she sees all the people that live there and how they live, how they make money for themselves, how they come together as a family and support each other, it just really changed her. It was beautiful to watch her growth throughout the whole book, and it was beautiful to watch Daniel's growth throughout the whole book too. He almost started off as like not knowing what he wanted and not knowing what he wanted to do with his life, and if this was the right place for him. He knew that he loved the town, but he didn't know if he loved what he did within the town or if he wanted to do it for the rest of his life. And when he met Alexis, the way that their worlds just collided and they both changed each other, and they both wanted to become the best version of themselves for each other to help the other person. It was beautiful. And Daniel, he is totally an acts of service person. So if acts of service is your love language, this is the book for you. The amount of things that Daniel just wanted to do for Alexis just to take care of her was remarkable. I am an acts of service girly. I am 100% an acts of service girly. That is my love language. Just watching it in these books and reading about it, it was just It was beautiful. And as I mentioned earlier, it does have a strong theme of abuse in this book, mainly emotional abuse, but also physical abuse. There is a small plot line that involves physical abuse, but the way that it was covered was actually so well done. It was beautiful. Like, I have no other word for it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful writing, beautiful book. 5 stars. Hands down. It was so good. This is my first 5-star read of 2025. And I just love small town romances so much. I just love how in like every small town romance, they're just a family. Everybody in that town is a family. And maybe it stems from me watching Gilmore Girls growing up and absolutely adoring Gilmore Girls. I'm literally rewatching it for a 5th time to show Owen the show. So I absolutely adore Gilmore Girls. And maybe that's where it all stems from, but I just love how everybody in these small towns, they support each other no matter what. And they come together as a family and they treat each other so well, and there's so much love there, and it makes my heart warm. And I want to go and live in a small town. I want to be a part of this community. On that note, what a fantastic way to finally end this vlog with a 5-star book. I am so happy that the last book was a 5-star book. It was incredible. I'm going to be thinking about it for so long. That is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching the whole thing if you made it this far, and let me know down in the comments if you have read any of the books that I read in this video, and let me know your thoughts on them, what you rated them. Of course, keep them spoiler free for anybody else in the comments who has not read them. And if you have any other book recommendations for me, leave them down below in the comments as well. I would love to see what you guys want me to read. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.